say. And they're like, okay, say holy shit snacks, because that's like your catchphrase. What's another good one? Sploosh. That's another good one. Shut your dick holster. That's my favorite one. There you go. Yeah.
Who came up with unipropes?
That was totally Adam. He came up with unipropes. And I think it's coming back. Like, there wasn't any really unipropes in the last few seasons. So, yeah, it's coming back around, which is one of my favorites. I love unipropes. Yeah.
Like, from the perspective of a voice actor, how has the show progressed from season 1 to season 8 now?
Good question. So as a voice actor, how's the show progressed from season 1 to now? One of the things that's crazy, that if you watch the show, because it's been such a long time, that the technology has improved so much. Like, the animation is so incredible now, where like you watch season 1 and it's like, oh, it's like such a sad little show compared to like how amazing the animation is. And so I think that we had to kind of raise the bar too as voice actors. But for the most part, it hasn't really changed all that much. I mean, we still have the same shitty studio that we go to, and we do our same kind of job. And the cool thing is now is because technology has improved in lots of different ways, that I can record from anywhere. So if they had a episode had to be recorded right now, I could record at a studio in New Zealand and it wouldn't be a big problem. So that's been really cool. So now I can kind of just be free to go do whatever I want. And to be honest, like, it takes no time for me to record. Like, I have the easiest job because I record for 30 minutes like every 2 weeks for half the year. So I literally like never work, which is great. It's great for me. Yeah.
Who came up with phrasing?
Phrasing was also Adam Reed, I believe.
Yeah, why did it leave?
Well, I don't know why it left, but people are so mad.
Is it coming back?
It is coming back. This is the most asked question at every con that we do a panel for. So phrasing's for sure coming back. I mean, it's still alive and well on the internet. But you can't not use it. Like, that is the one thing that I will say in real life. I will say phrasing. Not like a lot, but it's just it's just so good, right? You can't not use it. So hopefully, if not, we're just gonna have to bring it back ourselves. Yeah.
It's a Frisky Dingo question. Did you guys actually have scripts at all, or did you kind of like make it up on the fly?
That's such a perfect question, because the show didn't make any goddamn sense. So you would think that there were no scripts and we made it all up as we went along. But there were indeed scripts. And how many people have seen Frisky Dingo? Raise your hands. Okay, so there's a decent number of people. I realized going into season 2 of Frisky Dingo that I was starting to understand what the show was about. So I was like, we gotta end this, because I'm going insane, because the show doesn't make any sense. I just want to tell you guys a quick story for the people that know. And this guy made an appearance in Archer too, 2 seasons ago. Mr. Ford from Frisky Dingo. So Mr. Ford, when they first started making C-Lab, and then started making Frisky Dingo, it was literally a house in a shitty part of town called East Atlanta, and it was 5 stinky dudes in a house making cartoons. And when I would go to record, there was a closet in the back of the house that they'd put soundproofing in, and I would go in and close the door and lock it, and then they'd lock another door, and there was no ventilation in there. It was a fucking death trap. And so I would record all my lines in there. And Mr. Ford was a character on the show who was a man that lived across the street that would mow their lawn for them. And so that's the kind of voice acting caliber that we're talking about when it comes to what these guys are looking for. And they would pay Mr. Ford in wine and like $5 bills. And he was just like a poor dude that lived across the street. And when he would mow the lawn, he'd wear a helmet in case like any rocks, he didn't want to get hit in the head with a rock. It was crazy times back then. I don't even know what your question was. Does that answer your question? Yeah.
Who do you look up to as a voice actor?
Who do I look up to as a voice actor? You know, when I come to cons like this, and like I'm on a panel with other voice actors, there are so many people that do so much work. Like, all the voice actors that are at this con have like hundreds of credits to their name. And it makes me feel like I really don't do much. So I really honestly look up to a lot of different voice actors because there's so many incredible people out there. Hank Azaria is one of my favorites. Of course, like everybody on The Simpsons. And yeah, I think everybody's so incredible. And one of the things that's happened, and it happened on Archer too, so I can't talk about it when I'm around my castmates, is that for the longest time, voice actors were voice actors. And so when there was a movie that was animated, it was voice actors that were playing those roles. And now it's all about celebrity. It's all about how many followers you have on Twitter. And so there's people that aren't trained voice actors that are like, oh, Miley Cyrus, she's the voice of this leading character. And it's like, what the fuck? They don't know what they're doing. They're not voice actors. And everybody's like, well, everybody knows how to do everything. And it's like, well, just because I know how to like make a souffle doesn't mean that I'd be good at making fajitas, right? Like, it's still cooking, but it's a different style of cooking, right? And so I feel like there's a little bit of that that's really gotten to kind of a tipping point that I hope that it goes back the other way, because there's so many voice actors that are not celebrities but have done every cartoon that you ever watched, and they're incredible, and they should be making those insane paychecks that people that get to star in all the Pixar movies are. You know what I mean? So I kind of wish that things weren't, you know, the way that they are, but it is. It's because of Twitter and Instagram. But yes, there's so many people that do so much amazing work. Thanks for that question. Yeah.
Obviously, this isn't applicable to Pam because Archer is ongoing. But as a voice actor, have you ever experienced a time where, like, I guess you graduated from a role and you feel sort of a sense of loss?
Yeah, that's a great question. So as an actor or a voice actor, graduating from a role and kind of feeling like a sense of loss. I think that happens with any actor or any like project. Artists, I think, feel the same way. Writers, when they're done writing books or writing a character, or you're done with a piece that you've been kind of slaving over for a long time. For sure, like when I Frisky didn't go as weird as it was, I was sad when it was done because I got to play so many characters on that show, which I don't on Archer. I was the first person to record the voice for Krieger's Bride. And they were like, that's terrible, you're not doing that anymore. And I was like, okay. So they had Judy do it, actually. It's Judy's voice. But we don't get to do a lot of other characters. And so I think, yeah, of course, I think whenever you're not doing a character anymore, there's like a piece of it that goes away, you know? Because as an improv actor, too, I play 100 different characters a night in a show. And some of them come back. Like, I love playing old men. And I never play Pam on stage because I can't imagine embodying Pam. Like, people are always like, you should cosplay as Pam. I'm like, oh, I don't know, it's so crazy, I don't know if I could do it. But yeah. Yeah. Oh wait, there's a guy who has a question yet.
Yeah. This may or may not be my second question, but is there a Telltale Archer game in the works?
I don't know.
Telltale, as in the ones where all your choices matter.
I don't know. That might be.
Archer shoots mystery door. After the fight, you hear droning. It's Brett Bunsen.
I don't know.
You just shot.
No, you should make this happen.
I want someone to make it happen. I've seen a funny Junt Lynch.
Is it I don't know those games. Is it a
Telltale games, you make a choice and later on that choice will matter. Like, this person remembers this.
Is it a card game?
No.
Oh. I don't know. I think that here's the problem with Archer, and it's actually a problem with a lot of things becoming games, is that, like, because we were trying to make somebody was trying to make an Archer slot machine, and so they were just going to use a bunch of like lines from the show that have already been recorded. But the problem is actors are greedy, and the actors are like, well, we want like so much money to do this. And I'm talking about John and Aisha. And they're like, no, we can't pay you that much money for this thing. So I bet if they were trying to make that, it probably isn't going to happen because actors are greedy and they want a lot of money. Yeah. Yeah.
You know how there was a Bob's Burgers crossover? Will there be another crossover in the future? I'd really love to see
Simpsons crossover?
in Bob's Burgers. Or like with Archer in his amnesia.
Yeah. I think honestly when we did the crossover with Bob's Burgers, I think that we were like, oh, now you're gonna put us on your show, and they just never did. It's really funny, we have like an ongoing feud with Bob's Burgers, so I don't think there's one in the works, but I would love for one to happen, because John's on both shows, right? Whenever we get nominated for an Emmy, Bob's is always nominated too. And twice we've lost to Bob's Burgers, which is great because it's a great show. But when we did win, we beat Bob's Burgers that year because they were also in the category. And so when the executive producer accepted the Emmy, he made this very nice speech about like all the work and how proud he was, and then at the end he said, "Suck it, Bob's Burgers." So there's this feud that happens every year when we're both nominated where we're just shit-talking each other so hard. And it's mostly the cast, because the creator of Bob's Burgers doesn't care that we exist and doesn't really like get into it with us. But it's really fun. So I don't know. I would love for it to happen, but maybe not. Yeah.
Is there any character you want to play like another show that you always wanted to try to do?
Yes. So the question was if there's another character from another show that I've always wanted to do. So there was some rumblings, like some rumors a few years ago that they were going to bring back the Flintstones. That Seth MacFarlane was going to make the Flintstones. And Seth MacFarlane is kind of notorious for only hiring the people that he works with, like his friends. But I want so desperately to play Wilma Flintstone because I was like, man, I obviously don't do a lot of different voices. I'm like John Benjamin. Like everybody's like, you literally do one thing. You do one voice. But I think I do such a great Wilma Flintstone. So that's kind of my dream. One day, if they bring the Flintstones back, I want to do Wilma. It's basically this. It's pretty much me doing my voice, or maybe a little bit of Pam. Anybody else? We probably have time for like 2 more questions. Yeah, back there.
Going back to improv, would you show up on Whose Line Is It Anyway with Aisha Tyler?
Oh my God, that's such a great question. Thank you for asking. If I would show up on Whose Line It Is It Anyway with Aisha Tyler. And do you guys have one in New Zealand, like a New Zealand Whose Line? Because there is one in Australia, right? There's like an Australian one?
Probably, but
Oh, okay.
I knew there was a British one.
So Whose Line, I'm good friends with Colin Mockery also. He comes to our theater all the time and does shows with us, and he's such an incredibly amazing man. So he came to our theater, and he's been time and time again, and we love him, and we did a web series together called Heart of America. So you guys should check it out. It's HARTofamerica.com. And if you go to the website, there's like 10 episodes there, and you can watch all of them, and they're really great. But I have asked hundreds of times if they would please let me be on Whose Line Is It Anyway? And if you've noticed, there's very rarely any female performers on the stage. It's always men. It's always white men too. Well, I mean, okay, not all white men, but it's basically like, guys, you could deal with some diversity on the show. And I got, the response I got was that they're not sure that, they didn't say it in so many words, but basically they're like, we need a really strong performer that can stand up to these other performers. And they were basically saying like, we don't think a woman could cut it. And it really made me mad. So it's my mission to get on that show and to show them. I'm like friends with Colin. It's not like he's gonna steamroll me on stage. But anyway, I really, really want to do it. Thanks for the question. Yeah?
Hey, sorry, I'm just curious about, like, Archer is like probably the best current animation show that isn't for kids and stuff, right? Do you think it's now gonna get better for that kind of stuff? Like, Adult Swim's like the only thing we really have for like animation. Do you think Archer and other shows like need to be animated to be good? Like, do you think it actually is important for the show, or do you think like everyone with live action would still be just as good?
I don't know. Honestly, I think the reason it's good as an animated show is because when it's animated, you can get away with so much more shit. Like, if our show is live action, there's no way we'd be able to say the things that we can. Like, I don't remember, it was the last episode of maybe season 6, where it was like the most gratuitous sex scene between Lana and Archer. Do you remember this? And like her boobs were just like bouncing. It was just like, oh my God. And one of the producers, Casey Willis, was like, we animated this and we like took it as far as we could because we knew they were gonna be like, no, that's too much. But they weren't. And so if it was live action, there's no way we'd be able to get away with it. So I think like that and like South Park, you know, and a lot of the stuff that those guys make, like the, what was the Team America movie? Like that they got away with so much because it was puppets, right? So I think that that's where the specialness lies, and it's a lot cheaper to make animated shows. Like it takes so much more time. So if all the actors that were on Archer were making a live action show, because of the time that it takes, it would be so much more expensive that we wouldn't be able to do as much. So I think that that's the benefit of it. That's a great question. Thank you. All right, I think we probably have time for one more question. Yeah.
Is there any voice actor that you met in person and envisioned them being different? As opposed to
Any voice actor I've met in person and I envision them being different. Actually, I think it was probably John. Like the first time I met John Benjamin, I was like pretty nervous to meet him because I was a big like Coach McGurk fan, right? And I was at San Diego Comic-Con and I was getting introduced to him and he was like, "Who's this?" I was like, "Oh, I'm just the person that plays Pam." He's like, "Whatever." Like he was such a dick. But it was in a great way, like a big brother kind of way. And he's like, "Did they fly you first class out here?" And I was like, "Yeah." And he's like, "Surprising." And I was like, "Why are you so mean?"
He was trying to send an asshole.
Immediately mean to me. And I was kind of like, "Cool, dude. It's cool. It's cool that you've got the balls to be immediately mean to some poor person that's obviously nervous to meet you." So yeah, probably John. And I don't know if anybody saw this because it was a DVD extra, but they did a DVD extra where Archer was in a terrible accident and he was in a coma. Did anybody see this? And so he's in a coma and everybody's like huddled around him and they're like, "Oh God, is Archer gonna be okay?" And they take the bandages off of his head and he looks like John Benjamin. And everybody's like, like horrified by how ugly he is. And then there's like this montage of him like being too small for Archer's suits and like trying, like having to step up on like an apple box to talk to people. It's so great. It's probably online somewhere. So like Google John Benjamin as Archer, and you'll probably find it. It's really good. There's some great DVD extras, but like, who buys DVDs anymore? There was also a whole, it was the pilot episode where Archer is a dinosaur. And it's so stupid. It's like, why did they waste so much time and money making this stupid thing? Anyway, all right. Thanks, guys. It's been super fun talking to you. I really, really appreciate you asking so many questions. And I'll be here for the next 3 days. So if you haven't come by the table and talked to me, then please do. At the very end, we have one Pam. Do we have any more Pams in cosplay? Just one Pam? When we're done, come up and I want to take a picture with you. Thanks, guys. Thank you so much.